Welcome to Million Hour Life, the podcast about everything longevity. I'm your host, Eric Butts, and today honored to welcome someone that's not only a scientist, but a doctor and one of the smartest people I know. Heather Riggs, welcome to Million Hour Life.
Thank you so much, Eric. I'm so grateful to be here, and it's an honor. So I'm so happy to be here and talk to you and get down to the nitty-gritty of life itself.
Awesome. I'm more thankful to have you on than you already be here. So thank you. And before we get started, I want to remind everyone listening, Million Hour Life, or anything Heather says or I say today, is not intended to diagnose or cure any disease. What we're doing is a conversation for informational and educational purposes only, and any protocol you consider, you should review with your own doctor before starting, whether you hear it here or somewhere else. So also, too, if you like what you hear today and need more information about anything, make sure you DM me and let me know. We will love to have Dr. Riggs back on for further conversations later on down the road. So, all right.
Thank you, Eric. That was wonderful. Yes,
Thank
I
you.
want
All right.
all your viewers to know that we all have their back, because this is a process of longevity that we all need, and we all want to, make sure that we're on the same path. And so many people are afraid and scared to think about longevity, thinking it's expensive or it's this or it's that. So being here is an honor. So please.
Cool.
What
Well,
can
I'm
I do
not
to help?
afraid because my goal is I'm living to 115, and I appreciate your help in getting there.
Oh,
So
yes.
let's start with, in just the limited research that I've done, it seems to be that what I find is that mitochondrial health is like the most important thing to longevity. First, you agree with that? And then second, if you do, what could we do to strengthen our mitochondrial health?
Okay, I do agree that our mitochondrial health is a huge prelude to the right cellular adaptogens to make sure that your cells live. But there is a little precursor of what is called senescent cells.
Okay.
So we have this beautiful mitochondria, and they are like the bodybuilders. They're living it up. They're doing their thing. Yet you need to make sure you have senescent cells, which we call zombie cells, to flush themselves out so the mitochondria can live stronger and healthier. I am for mitochondria health and help. The problem is not many people have the resources or knowledge to know what avenues to go through for mitochondria health. And with that being said, unfortunately, we live in an era where there's Dr. Google, there's ChatGPT, everyone tells you something. But the truth is, you need to know your own body and how your cells work.
Okay. So what you're saying is, yes, it's mitochondrial health, but it starts with testing. If you're not testing your own body, then you don't know specifically how you can increase your mitochondrial health. Does that sound
100%? I'm with that
okay?
100%, because not only testing your body. So when it comes to longevity and living and really wanting to make sure you are the best version of you, not only is the testing important, but you have to understand you can take a variable group, and you and I, for say, could be on the same path, but you're A positive and I'm O negative. We're not going to have the same outcome when it comes to our mitochondrial health. So blood equals what happens to our vessels and what happens to our RNA and DNA. And DNA structures is your epigenetics. So I truly believe that when it comes to thinking about what has to happen next with your mitochondrial health, it's super, super easy. And it's something that we can all do. It doesn't take, a PhD. It doesn't take a medical degree. It just takes knowledge and getting the right information.
So you said clearing out the senescent cells, the zombie cells. in my mind, the best way to do that is to do 72-hour fast to get your body into autophagy. Is there a better way to do that? Or is that like a good, everyone could use that as step one?
Well, yes, they can do it as step one. But here's the thing. See, Eric, the problem is that fasting does amazing things for your body and your organs, especially
Okay.
your kidneys, your liver, your heart, and your
Right.
brain.
Okay.
But when it comes to fasting, you have to actually add a little bit to it, which is a good bone broth. Don't do water. I would just do bone broth. But the thing about it is, to get to autophagy, we know that autophagy is when it's a cellular cleanup of the brain, cellular cleanup of the whole body.
Mm-hmm.
So if you do not have, which I hate to add this to it, but if you don't have the AMPK, add it. And what that does is it takes the cells that are and make sure they don't duplicate or replicate into cells that could become inflammation.
Okay.
Because inflammation is what hurts the heart, the brain, the liver, everything, the gut. Our sources, in my opinion, my medical opinion, our sources are not just brain, heart, it's gut.
Okay.
So
The brain of the body, they say, or whatever.
exactly. And autophagy is just getting rid of the zombie cells. It's like an enema, okay, of the cells.
Clean
Just
out,
get
a
rid of them.
flushing.
Clean
And
it out.
you said AMPK. Is there like foods that you eat to get AMPK, or is that something you have to supplement if your body's not producing it? No.
You can do it with food, but I do recommend supplementing it. The only reason I do is because so many companies and so many people say just do the peptides, and it's like, hold on, just hold on. We might not need that. You might not need all these peptides if you actually truly do the AMPK. And what that is things that we can buy over the counter. But nobody really wants to put the numbers together to say, I need this much rhodiola, I need this much Bacobia. And what it does is it just helps so the inflammation does not begin again. So you deal with the autophagy. So that's going to clear you out. It's going to cleanse out all the zombie cells. But then what do you do with the zombie cells? You need to make sure you're building healthier cells. So when it comes to this, it goes to the gut.
Okay. So is that prebiotics, probiotics? Is that, or is it literally you buy AMPK as a supplement and just take that?
Good question. Very hard to buy it unless you're going through a company, which I believe in one that's actually amazing. They have done more research in the world, and they are so affordable, because I don't think people want to go down the route of longevity thinking it's so expensive. I got to eat organic. I've got to buy these supplements. No, you really don't. You really
it does
don't.
freak you out when you do the math a little bit. You're like, all right, 80's not so bad. Maybe 80's not so bad.
You're right, exactly. And one of my biggest things is that you can replicate that in food, and I'll give you that. But I have to say, what bothers me the most is when you have people who really are looking at the longevity aspect of that, and they say, it's just not working. I don't know if I feel any different. I don't know what's happening in my body. But when you do certain supplements, and you have to make sure you speak to a provider who is licensed to deal with supplements to help you, because first of all, self-knowledge is key. But then take that and get a little bit of professional help to know, maybe I shouldn't do this, maybe I should.
Yeah.
This longevity aspect really makes a difference. And I have to say, when it comes to AMPK, we have to go to the next step, which is the cognitive issues.
Okay. So tell me, you mean lack of AMPK is actually causing your brain to not
Yes,
function?
brain fogs. Or as
Okay.
some people say, I'm having a brain fart
I
today.
just almost had one, so maybe I
You
need
know,
some
I'm having
AMPK.
a brain fart today. And but with all that being said, I mean, we're 50. I guess you're, well, looking at you now, you're 42, right?
Dude, I'm 50 and you look, stop it, you look 30. So let's not get to who looks younger here. Holy
Oh,
shit.
well, let me tell you something. And I'm being honest with everyone. And this is very serious when it comes to longevity. I am not a believer of Botox. I'm not a believer of getting things done. That's why I've got this. Because I really believe you can do the best with your own initiatives. So,
Plus, anybody who goes down that route, I've never seen someone who started that route at 40 or 50 who looks good at 60 or 70. It's like you did this for long, like, so you look good older. Oh shit, now you don't even look like a real person. What happened?
you don't. And it's a rabbit hole that you go down. But the thing is that you're doing it for other reasons. You're not doing it for longevity. So we need to deal with just living longer for us,
Yep.
for our family. And the biggest issue is making our family, our loved ones, also be on board. So they live as long as we can, so we can all be together in a way.
Who wants to live to be 115 and have the people younger than us passing away? That would be a nightmare.
So, Eric, here's something for you. My mother, God love her. She's the love of my life. She's 71. 71. Scott Irish, okay? They grew up on margarine, cream, you know it.
Yep.
And I said to her, I can't lose you. You're the only, you're my only parent.
Yeah.
So I put her through boot camp.
I love it.
I put her on a holistic longevity boot camp. And she's like, I hate you. I'm like, you'll love me later. You'll love me
You're
later.
a doctor. At least
You'll
you're
love
a
me
doctor.
later.
She
Yes.
can't go, what do you know? Like, you're a doctor. I tried it with my mom.
She
My
says
mom's
that.
like, I'm not doing any of this. And I'm like, okay.
She says that to me. She goes, I hate you, but I'll do it. And I was like, I don't want you to be the outcome of what your parents were because you think it's genetic. The genetic is only 10 to 15%.
I got your answer, Mom. I'd rather you hate me alive than love me dead. So what do you want me to do?
Yeah, and she does. She gives back and says, that felt good. I'm like, yeah, I bet it did.
Yeah, good.
But the thing is that I turned her biological age from 71 to 58. And our family dealt with heart issues, everything. And the heart is a huge, huge deal where it doesn't take much to change even that for longevity. Because again, what are you worth if you want to live so long if your brain, your heart, your gut, it's all not working?
Especially brain. Like in my mind, and this is not doctor, this is like, I'm a weirdo who like closes my eyes and tries to think about how the future is going to be. And in my mind, it's like, well, maybe in 30 years, needing a new arm is going to be like, analogy to a computer, needing a new mouse or needing a new keyboard. But if you need a new brain, your computer's not going to work. Like they might be able to replace some shit. They're not going to be able to replace your brain. So let's start with it's got to be healthy or you're not living long.
And even if they could, you would never remember the memories because the one part is your frontal lobe can never be replaced. Never can be replaced. So that cryogenics, it's not going to work.
This is why I need you, Heather, because you said something really, really important that you helped your mom get from 71 to 58 in what's called chronological or biological age testing. We all have a chronological age. Biological age. We all have a chronological age. It's when we were born to how old we are. But we also have biological age, which says how we are compared to like what our body says how old we are. And I spent years trying to work on my biological age and then got it tested and am the same as my chronological age. So I would love to help.
Okay, wait, so it was the same?
It was the same. Yeah, I was 50 and I'm 50.
Okay, well, that's better than hearing that you're way older than it could be. But there are things we can do to tweak that.
I know,
So,
that's what I'm hearing and I want to learn. So, yes.
okay, so the tweaking of the biological age. Let me tell you about medications and what I want to tell you about Big Pharma. And I am very eager to discuss the fact that so many things are done off label. And that's when they become, oh, we could do this, we could do this. So let's, if we have a moment to go back to COVID.
Sure.
After COVID, many people got frightened and said, oh Lord, I mean, I could die. This is, something could happen. And longevity became an institution of a way of free thinking. That's wonderful. I'm glad to hear people were free thinking about what they can do. However, I am scared for the people who actually go on social media and think A, B, C, and D are correct, because they're not. More supplements can kill you than medication. So I always say to my patients, please, let's talk about what you're taking and what you're not. For instance, before I go deeper into that, milk thistle. I know you know milk thistle.
I know what it is. That is not a supplement I take. So tell me.
Good. I'm glad you don't. Milk thistle is an amazing supplement that is taken by people who want to have a few drinks at the bar. Okay. They want to clear out their liver. They want to detox their liver. Because you remember, when you take supplements, they all stick in the liver. For my patients, I methylate their supplements. I methylate them. So the difference,
so their body absorbs them better, is why you're methylating.
The difference with methylation, it's compounds rather than being in a vegetable capsule where they build up and build up and build up in the gut. Because your whole life of disease, bacteria, flu, viruses, your gut is number one. And I want to go back because I apologize. I interrupted you with about pre, pro, and with the antibiotics, or not, excuse me, the
probiotics, prebiotics.
The difference is is to put in the bugs. Pro, to have them stable.
Okay.
Post is to feed them.
Post, I've never heard of post.
You cannot do prebiotics without postbiotics.
Oh, so you're taking them together. They just call them prebiotics. Like I do AG1 is my kind of cheat to pre and pro. No. I mean, right now I'm not doing it because I'm on carnivore diet, but normally I drink a glass.
I love you for carnivore. And I want to tell you all.
I'm glad to hear that.
We got to talk about carnivore because that cures cancer.
Okay, because I thought as a doctor you might say, like, dude, don't just eat meat. And
no, I am telling you, I'm a guinea pig, Eric.
Me too.
Okay, I will never give my patients anything that I wouldn't put on myself first.
Love that.
So I'm like, what do you think you want to do? Let's do it. I'm going to guinea pig it. And I will tell you this. Before I started this journey of guinea pigging myself, I knew my cholesterol was high. I was 261.
Total.
And yeah, I'm 261, but I'm 122 pounds.
But that was like that was your good and bad cholesterol together, was the 261.
Yes. Okay. But here's what we look at. And this is what I want to tell so many people. I am medicine 3.0. Every doctor you go to is 2.0. You get a CBC done and they look and say, you're in range. And I say, give me your information. You're not in range. You are too close to the cusp of not being in range.
Yeah.
So that's where I take that take the differentials, put it in an algorithm to make it so you have everything you need to know for better functioning, not only just epidemics,
Getting
but
by, like optimal health. Who wants to live like just
more
getting by?
absolutely optimal, more than optimal. But it really has to do with being a methylation period in your own blood. So I see this and I'm like, you know what? You're not there. So one of the things I do for a living is I go to many of my colleagues and I say, look at the blood work.
Yeah.
This is going to happen. This is going to happen. And they're going to have this happen. And they say, well,
That's
our
happening.
hands are stuck, our hands are tied with insurance. And I say, so let me come in. So we have 2 doctor's appointments. A patient will come in and you have the doctor and then you have me. And I say, look, this is what we need to do. And one of the biggest and best things I can recommend to anyone is hibiscus.
Oh shit. Okay. Does it matter how you get your hibiscus?
Take it in tea form.
I drink hibiscus tea every
I love
freaking
it,
morning.
Eric. I love it.
I drink a red tea that is hibiscus tea. I don't put anything in it. I'm like, all right, at least it's something warm. I didn't even do it for health reasons. I'm just like, this tastes good enough to drink it warm without sugar or honey in it.
Are you ready for this? I'm gonna annihilate the whole hibiscus. I'm gonna blow your mind with this. If you do your hibiscus tea and then add Bacopa, and I'll tell you what Bacopa is.
The copia stuff tastes like such shit. I can't imagine adding.
No. Bacopa doesn't taste bad.
Oh.
It's a supplement. It doesn't taste bad.
I thought I had it in powder form and I couldn't even put it in my shakes.
Oh, Jesus. If I ever had that powder form, I'd be like, oh, God. I'll be running to the bathroom. Never.
Okay. All right.
Bacopa is an Ayurvedic herb. And what happens with that is you take it with the hibiscus and you add no sugar in hibiscus tea. You add the number 1 red cedar mountain honey.
Okay.
You know what that does together?
No.
We found in Johns Hopkins in 2021 that if you put Bacopa with red cedar honey, you actually clean out dementia.
Oh shit.
That I'm saying to you on
and I have that in my family.
Anyone can go and look that up and do their research.
So I can just add a little honey and
not just honey.
And Bacopa. Red. It was specific. Red what honey?
It is red mountain cedar.
Okay, got it. It'll be ordered today.
It should be. And I will tell you this, and I really want your viewers to know this as well. I have a quick little story that I really want to share. For sure. One of my dissertation papers for I think it was my first PhD, was about metformin.
Take it.
So metformin, it was originally found in France by a wonderful man called Sean Stern.
Okay.
He realized that this herb, and it's a beautiful, beautiful herb. It's called Galaga officinalis.
Okay.
And he said, I really see potential in this. I really do. And he started to work with, of course, this is France, 1920,
1920. So
1920.
It's over 100 years old, Matt. I know it was old.
Well, it gets worse when I tell you.
Okay.
So he says, I see what it's doing with the sugar levels, with the glucose levels, because you don't normally your body doesn't just have glucose; it's got insulin. So he realized that there was something special about this. So I want to fast forward 10 years. I'm going to go 1930, 1932. We have in this world, some United States, some grandiose figures. We've got the Pfizers. We've got some men that just love to trophy hunt. Okay, that's the thing. Okay, I'm just saying I'm not for it, but do what you do.
Okay. Trophy
They go-
hunting animals. I get
They
it.
go, they go over to Africa.
It
And
is.
they
I
are
mean,
doing
back in the day, you want to show you're cool. You have something exotic hanging on your wall.
exactly. Look what I've got.
Yeah.
Exactly. So they're all together, and we're talking Rockefellers. We're talking everyone. And what I am saying, I can back up and justify. So I will only say what I can justify.
Okay.
They were there, and they recognized tribeswomen, and they said, "My lord," I would say this, "My lord, my wife cannot breastfeed my only child. How is this woman, this beautiful woman, breastfeeding 21 children in a row?"
Oh,
So
is
they
that
all
like
wanted,
to set a Guinness Book World's Record of how many kids you can breastfeed or something?
right? And you know what? I don't even think they would have made it because they had another row coming. There was more rows coming. And these
Crazy.
women did this for their tribe. And the men were like, "Well, golly bee, what happened? How are you doing this?" And they all noticed these women were doing one thing in common, sucking on a root.
Okay.
Sucking on a root. And when I say they were sucking on a root, they were sucking on goat's rue.
Okay.
Now, goat's rue is a beautiful plant, a beautiful, beautiful tree, bush, but the actual amount of what's inside of it is unpronounced. So they went up and said, how are you able to do this? How are you able to, breastfeed all these children? Without understanding what they were saying, they just took the root back to the States, put it under scrutiny, did it under the microscopes, did whatever they had to do, and they realized, holy crap, these women were being able to breastfeed because their glucose levels, because what was happening in their body, they were able to form more and more breast milk. I was like, shit, if I knew this.
You shit. You can say anything. There's no language barriers here.
If I know that Gagalga officialis was available back when I had my daughter, I maybe could have, done it a little bit longer.
Breastfed longer.
Yeah,
like you're
but
4. Stop, kid.
it's like, wow. So what happened was they realized that the root had all the potency. They took it back to their labs.
Okay.
And remember, every drug we have has to have an adaptogen, a sugar or salt base. You have to.
Okay.
They brought it back. The name of these beautiful people who were out there hunting were Pfizer. They came back. They put it in their labs. And they made something called metformin because they realized what it did to glucose.
Huh.
And here's the kicker.
Okay.
You can go to Whole Foods, Fresh Market, walk down the aisle and go and look for goat's rue. Goat and then RUE.
Okay. Like
And
root
you can
butter
have
roux.
it. You can have it in a supplement. You can have it in a tincture.
Okay.
It's the same thing as metformin.
Now, I've always heard like, hey, this protocol I do of supplements, if you can't get metformin, then you should take berberine, which they call the poor man's metformin. Is that the same thing as the goat rue, or is that
No, not at all.
Okay.
Not even close. And when it comes to berberine, it must have the DIHY to it.
Okay.
You cannot just take berberine. Okay, so berberine is just like, I would say, I'll give you a scenario type. There was a woman who came to our hospital and she was on blood thinners. She was on heparin and she had to have a very easy surgery. It was gastric. And they told her, of course, please don't be on heparin for 2 weeks. Don't take baby aspirin. Watch
Yeah.
what you do. And she goes, I'll do it. I'm going to take care of everything on the table. Just for a very small gastric tear, she bled out and bled out and bled out, bled out. So many vials of blood were put back into her. And you know what happened, Eric? And this is where I became so involved to say every doctor has to now in Florida put on what your supplement list is and what you're eating. She goes, I did what you told me. I didn't take the heparin. I never take baby
Yeah.
aspirin. But you know what she did? She had a beautiful diet of curcumin and turmeric.
Okay. What's your blood thinners? Which thin the blood, I mean.
Exactly. To the point
Oh,
where I would never go in heparin. I would just take turmeric if I had to.
yeah.
But it was a show, to put it that way. I mean, we
Jeez.
were trying to make sure that was a very
She
bad case.
lived. Like,
Yeah, it
holy
was a
crap.
very bad case. And
Okay.
this is why now in Florida, and I'm trying to get it all over the states, the people ask, what supplements do you take? Because
So good to know in Jersey that's happening now. Like I switched doctors recently and I was surprised to find out that I was just surprised to find out that my doctor cared about what supplements I was taking as my doctor
thank
was when it
God.
came for the list of the supplements I was taking.
Well,
So
you know why? There's now I don't want to say I'm responsible for it.
let's give
Maybe
you
I am,
credit.
maybe I'm not, but I wanted to make sure it was a federal deal. And
Well,
it could be an offense if you do not take care of your patients properly. You know, this because it also protects insurance companies, which I'm not, you know.
listen, we want to protect them as much as our insurance rates are going to go up if we don't. So I let that slip.
Exactly. But at the end of the day, we want to protect ourselves. And
Yeah.
longevity does not cost money. It really doesn't. There's one time fee, and that's the blood, as you and I both know.
The blood test.
It's the genetic. It's not just, it's blood, it's genetic, it's DNA, it's RNA, it's that test.
All right, so I want to go into testing because I think that's really something important.
Let's
But
go.
real quick, I want to go back and just finish up on metformin, the amount of research you've done on metformin to go back to like its history and break it down, friggin' incredible. So in the end, metformin good, metformin bad, metformin just really for specific people.
Okay. If you're in a situation where your insurance is charging you an arm and a leg for metformin, I suggest to most people, and I do this to my patients,
Yeah,
just go to Whole Foods
goat root.
and go get goat's root.
Okay.
And goat's root, as we spoke about, is a supplement for lactation because that's how they found it.
So
no, you're not going to lactate, Eric, I promise.
I got a little nervous because I'm a full beast still. So I got a little
Don't
nervous.
worry, honey. It's not going to happen. Don't worry.
So the reason I'm asking so
But
much
it's
about
true.
metformin is I have been prescribed metformin because I was pre-diabetic. Now I've got my blood sugar levels to below 100.
Stay off it then.
But my functional medicine doctor is like, listen, everybody should be on metformin. Stay on metformin. And I started having nerve issues, so I pulled myself off of it. So I've been wondering whether metformin was good or metformin. And I do research and I'm like, okay, it's 100 years old. That's got to be good. It's over the counter in more than 50% of the countries in the world. That's got to be good. And then I talked to Heather Riggs and I'm like, shit, I'm not sure metformin is the right thing.
It goes through. It's goes
Goes
through.
through.
It's lactation medication.
All
and
right.
any of your viewers can take a moment and look it up and they'll see, they'll be like, it really is. How's this
Okay.
possible? So, you know, I remember part of my dissertation was about it. Like, why are we doing this to people? Because everyone thinks that the sheep theory, you know, everyone in medicine thinks that they're above and beyond, and they're not. Doctors aren't gods. And I always say, you know, it's like doctors are like divorces. You know, you might want to marry one, but you got to find out that this didn't work and this is divorce and find a new doctor.
Yeah.
Because if they're not going to really take your best interest in heart. So what I do is, it's funny, Eric, because when I'm with a patient, I'm like, anything else? Because I'm there for like 2 hours. They're like, wow, you answered everything. I was like, well, What else do you want to ask? How's your sexual function? How's your love life? What can we do to help your mind? What are your thoughts? And they're like, this doesn't
No,
make
you're not
sense.
just like, what prescriptions can I write you now? Get the hell out of here, like most
I
doctors
don't want
are.
that 15 minutes. I want to know you because
Love that.
I feel if I have to keep seeing you, I did something wrong.
I
I
love
did
that.
something wrong.
Okay,
That's
so
it.
I love that thought process, and that's the way I think all doctors should believe to be, or want to practice with their patients. And I would think that in doing that, let's get back to it. You don't
Yeah.
know what I forget how the saying goes, but like, you can't fix what you don't test or measure. You can't fix what you don't measure. Let's start with
100%.
testing. What
Yes.
what testing should people do to start to pay attention to their metabolic health?
Okay. Okay. So I will tell you, unfortunately, where we live in this world, our insurance only wants to cover a CBD. They just want to do the full blood count and that's it. Or they might add a rider for hormones. Yet, if you truly want your doctor to write a lab report to do more extensive research, like ApoB, you have the right to ask for that. And you have the right to actually have your insurance cover it if you have an advocacy. So I say to most people, there is a particular company that I truly believe in. And when I say this, Eric, I believe it in my full heart.
Okay.
And that takes a lot for me to say, because I've seen it all, done it all. In 50 years, I've seen it and done it. But there is a company that actually does more than the studies of where your genetics stand, where your blood work stands, where is your heart value, where is your liver, where are your organ value. So you and I probably both know 10X.
Yeah, Gary Brecka.
Great guy, but he's just a biologist. Okay.
Okay, good.
And
Because
he's
I'm like,
just
great guy, but more to me, great guy, good heart. But sometimes I feel like, Gary, what are you selling? Not
Well, I'll be honest with you. I will tell you two things about that. Number one, I live on a ranch out by the Everglades. I have a
that.
lot of property. Okay.
Okay.
I mean, a ton. And I looked up in the sky one day and I saw this helicopter coming down. I was like, son of a, it says 10X on it because they're from Dunedin, Florida.
Oh,
and
shit.
I went, you know what? Really?
Like,
I don't fly
in
around
the
in a
middle of
helicopter.
nowhere. I don't have a helicopter. Don't fly your helicopter over
Exactly.
me.
And I was like, yeah, you want to do a test? But the thing about it is, what bothered me is that he has a PEMF blankets for horses.
Okay.
And the red light therapy and of these things that
very big on red light therapy.
We can discuss. But his whole chronological testing of the genetic sequencing of RNA and what could be missing or added, I want to be honest with everyone. I would be failing myself if I didn't say, when you do a DNA 23andMe, it does give you a bit of that, but you can also just do a company called HealthSpan.
Okay.
This company does your whole longevity and tells you where you are age-wise, what you're missing, what you need. Because I don't like a company that's, in my opinion, medically, but I also have done this. I've been in college. I've done this for 18 years and I'm still doing recontinuing education, especially in, functioning nutrition and functioning medicine. So when you tell me that you want to take my blood and do my test, that tell me what I'm missing with vitamins, but then sell me yours, there's a problem.
Yeah.
There's a problem. It's like,
understood.
You're
Agreed.
talking to someone that, please don't.
Yeah.
So when I see that, I feel it's not fair to the average person.
Yeah.
They're too way out of their realm. When it comes to a company that really truly cares about you and does the test, and Eric, I think the whole genetic testing of where you are chronologically, biologically, and what's wrong with whatever system, health span, I think it might be like 150, maybe
Oh,
250
shit.
for the test.
Because
They are
Breckles,
an
I think, is,
amazing company.
yeah, and that's, I think his is like $600. Now,
No,
like
no,
that,
it's 1,200 if you do the whole
1,200 now. Wow.
1,200 if you
Now,
do the whole full Monty.
Is health span also something you do one time and then you know it? Like that's your genetics. Your genetics don't change.
One time, they do not ask you to keep going back unless here we go. Unless you want to go down the rabbit hole, or I don't even want to say rabbit hole because I the better hole. If you want to do their protocols, like I do, my morning protocol equals NAD plus,
Okay.
glutathione. I do injections of
Got it.
that.
Okay.
I do NAC. I do methylene blue. I
Okay.
do oxytocin sprays.
Gotcha.
And this is not just from this company. Okay, this is what I do for me.
And that's your morning protocol. Holy
Morning
shit.
protocol.
Okay.
Morning protocol.
And wait, NAD. Are you doing that intravenously?
Yes,
Or how are you?
absolutely.
Okay.
You cannot do it any other way.
I've heard that.
You
Isn't
cannot.
it painful?
No.
No, it doesn't make your body feel all cold and no.
No. If someone thought that, you might be adding a little too much.
Okay.
Because NAD is only supposed to be 1 to 3 times a week, and only up to 50 mg. So you shouldn't be putting too much in your body.
Gotcha.
But there are riders to add to it, which I have over here, little riders.
Okay.
And one of the things that, because Eric, I've dealt with weight problems.
Stop.
You know, I've dealt with longevity issues, and I told my children, I made a commitment to my children that I would never be plastic or fake. I would be the person who can laugh and do it all and just live the best I can for them.
Yeah. While telling the truth.
Exactly. And there are so many things like hibiscus. Jesus, hibiscus is like the holy grail.
Holy shit.
Holy grail.
Luckily taking it. So, woo, look at me.
Holy grail. I mean,
that's the one thing. Like, I can't believe you said that because of everything I take. Like, I did all this research. Like, no, Trader Joe's had this. I was looking for something that didn't have caffeine in it. I was like, it's a red tea. I drank it. I'm like, it kind of tastes like fruit punch. So I'm going to drink it.
It does.
I really think, like, I thought about it afterwards and I'm like, wait. What flavor is fruit punch? Like, I know shit's great, shit's dry. And I'm like, I really think fruit punch is just hibiscus. And then,
but if you need hibiscus, if you want to add a little flavor to it, add some monk fruit. But the secret is not just doing the hibiscus, but there is such a protocol for longevity that actually truly works. And that's how, and here's the thing. We all say, well, we want to live for,
however, over 100. Years. Let's just say we want to be centurions. So
let's do that. But the thing about it is we are all not created equal, especially with our blood types and what we take. So I always tell people, they're like, oh, I'm on it. I've got it. I'm on milk thistle. I'm like, no, please don't take milk thistle. Like, why? It helps my liver. I said, because if you are allergic to molds and you have allergies, milk thistle will be your deterrent. It's like fennel.
So it's not like don't take milk thistle. It's like don't take milk thistle without being tested to make sure you're someone who needs milk thistle.
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly. And speak to a professional. I have people ask me, can I do this? And I'm like, okay, we can do this, but you can't do this.
Okay.
And they say, well, if I don't take this, does that mean my heart won't function properly? No, it's all a beautiful synchrony. It's an orchestra of having longevity.
You nailed it with orchestra, Heather, because that's what I feel like as someone who, when I talk to other people, like I do more research than anyone I know. I
I'm
try to
proud of
think
you
it
for
all
that.
through. Right? I appreciate that. But I also know I'm just winging it. You know what I mean? Like I do enough research to go, okay, I don't think anything I'm taking interacts with this new thing. Let's throw it in the regimen. I'm very rarely like, let me supplement for this problem or deficiency I'm having.
Yeah, be careful with that though,
I
because
know,
there are
really.
so many things that can actually harm you.
Hmm.
And all of a sudden you're walking around like, where am I? It's
But oh
because you
no,
took
worse than
too
that.
much of one thing.
Worse than that. Eventually, everybody knows Million Hour Life, and then the news is like the Million Hour Life guy died at 72 because he was taking too many supplements.
He's not going to die. You know why? Because I'm going to be
Heather
right
Riggs,
here to
thank
guide
you.
you and tell you what to take and what not to take. And some
Awesome.
people get so upset and say, but no, I really want to take this methylation. And I was like, you have to understand what you're doing first.
Hmm.
Because especially with social media, everyone's like, we got this. But that happened after COVID because everyone was scared straight.
I agree.
And you cannot just take what you want and think it's okay. Supplements are as dangerous as medication.
Crazy.
If you don't
Yeah.
do it right, you don't do it at all.
Hmm. All right, I'm on board. I'm on board. You're going to help me through this, Heather, and I greatly appreciate it.
I'm
So,
going to help you through this in so many ways. And I would love to just really, truly show you the aspects of how to make this work because you can do this. And it's so easy. And actually having a few extra pounds helps the process.
huh,
And having the right implements help the process.
okay.
But it also has to deal with your blood type, where you are, with what supplements you want to take and what you don't want to take, but the knowledge. And you know what? Self-knowledge is key. Always being educated. I tell everyone, research, but don't take it all into retrospect as if it's true. Go to someone like myself who's trained to tell you this shouldn't be and this shouldn't be.
Well, what we're going to do is I'm going to start with I do a ridiculously, or my doctor, I should say, functional medicine doctor does a ridiculously in depth blood panel. I go to him Friday. I'm going to get my blood work and send it to you
Love it.
so you can look
Love
at my
it.
actual blood and then go,
Please. I will.
oh,
And
this is, you know what? You know what I would love to do maybe? And we could talk about this. Tell me if, off air or whatever. Maybe I send you my blood work and maybe we go over my blood work on air. Like,
we can do that because I have to tell you, Eric, I have to be honest with you. I always want to say I'm the soup. Well, I don't want to say Seinfeld, the soup, but I am the worst when it comes to blood work because
let's just say this. You're the no soup for you person.
no soup for you. And the reason is I am medicine 3.0, where our doctors are 2.0.
Yeah.
So they will look at your blood results. Have you ever had this happen? And I'm sure a lot of your viewers have. You get your blood work, and then the doctor calls and says, your blood work's fine. You're good. And you're like, okay, well, I'd like to see a copy. I would like to see it. Please email it to me. And you look at it and you see, okay, I'm in range or I'm, where I should be. I'm the expert that says your range shows that in 2 years to 6 months to 4 years, you're not going to be in range, my friends. And this is going to be a problem.
Where your regular 2.0 doctor is going to be like, well, when this gets here, then we'll fix it. Where you're like, no, let's fix it before it gets there, which seems like such a smart.
I fix it before it gets there. But medical doctors, I'm a medical doctor, but I'm saying most medical doctors,
2.0 doctors,
they cannot do that. And you know why? Their hands are tied. Their hands are absolutely tied. And
they just have to follow the NIH protocol.
Well, it's JAMA besides
JAMA,
NIH.
okay.
And it's NAHA and it's NICA and it's NIDA. So here's the thing. I go into doctors' offices and what happens is a doctor will call me and say, my patients, they're not believing in me anymore. We're having problems. And I come in, I have my lab coat on and I say, I want to talk about you. I'm here for as long as you want. Let's talk about you. I get the full history. I get the full information. I want to know everything that's happening in your body. And then we can talk about integrated medication.
So what I like about that is this is the theory that I follow in my profession. And it's I need to know as much as I can about you because until I do, I can't advise you what I would do if I was in your shoes till I really understand walking in your shoes. Sounds like you're trying to do that medically.
I do. I want to know what you feel, what you're feeling every day, what lifestyle you have. Lifestyle, environmental means everything. I mean, where you live. Do you live close to this? So everything matters. But most doctors only have a 15-minute window and then 30 minutes for a nurse practitioner. So
Yeah.
I come in blazing glory, I'm the Bon Jovi of it all. I come in
You're
and
like,
say,
we got 2 hours. This is a concert. We got 2 hours here.
I
Let's
want
talk
to
about
know what
everything.
you're feeling, and I want to know what really we can do to help you. And that's the problem with medicine nowadays. They only have, and it's not the doctor's fault because I know so many. I deal with, my gosh, my Rolodex of the physicians I work with, and my understudies too. They all feel the same way. We're just not allowed to. Our hands are tied.
Yeah.
Where, Eric, that's why I didn't keep it going. My original study was to be a forensic pathologist.
Oh shit.
So
Talk
I
about
wanted to,
science and medicine together. Okay.
yes. So that's where I originally went down, but it didn't work out the way it did. And I am where I am now, and I'm glad because my hands aren't tied by anyone particular, and I can go and give the right information and say, hey, here's the science to back it. Do your
Yeah.
own research.
Yeah.
Do what we should all do. Listen to everyone and take in what you want and go by it and guide yourself. And then if you have questions, I'm here to answer it.
I love that you figured out a way in a industry where so important, doctors are so important, but when their hands are tied, nobody can listen to them. So I love that you figured out a way to kind of stay in there, but not have to just give the same advice, the same rhetoric that every 2.0 doctor.
Absolutely. And you nailed it with that. You nailed it with that, Eric. You really did. You nailed it because it is not the same conversation. It's not the same. And I will never be stringent with any patient to say, you listen to this one, you listen to that. I am there for each individual because the thing is about longevity. I want people to live the best, longest life with the most cognitive tuitions that they have, but have the people around them and support them as well. But know what you're doing and do it right.
It's funny you say that because when I tell people like, hey, my goal is to live to be 1,000,000 hours old, which is 114 years and 10 months old, they're like, you're fucking crazy because you're going to have this life where what? Your brain's not going to work. And I'm like, no, okay, that's my second goal. My first real goal is I want to live to a longest life possible where I don't have this steady, slow decline over a 10, 15-year period. If I only live to be 90, but up until 89, I'm playing pickleball, and then at 90, I'm dead. All right, that still was the truth when no one knows how.
You still worked it hard though, because you were playing pickleball.
Yes, at 89. That's goal number one. So
that's it. The goal is the goal, and I have to tell you, I will tell you this, which is just irony in 1.0 here. I did a 29-hour medical convention lecture, and I'm like, I just was like, I wanted to stand up.
You listened for 29 hours or you
29 hours. I was there in Scottsdale to do this. It was horrible. It was like 3 days of hell. Okay. And it was all about cognitive brain longevity. Now,
what's the worst thing to do for brain longevity? Staying awake and listening for 29 hours.
I'm like, yeah, I was so interested because my father passed away from dementia, which he shouldn't have. So he was diabetic, and I could have, I wish I could have done many things different.
You
But
don't have time, it seems.
when I was at this study though, Eric, I'm like, at the end of this whole protocol, it came down to cleansing, dispersing, evacuating. And that was all done, as I've said for years, Bacopa and the honey, the
And
mountain cedar honey.
when you're saying cleansing, are you talking about just getting out those senescent cells? Or are you talking about, getting parasites out of your body and
Parasites,
okay,
absolutely.
okay,
Senescent cells, but
okay.
not just that, getting rid of the inflammation. Because once you have inflammation in the brain, and we could do that just from a migraine, a headache, getting rid of the inflammation. So you have the cognitive ability to say, I'm not brain fogged, I'm not brain farted today. That means so much. And everyone says, well, if you don't want to fight Alzheimer's or dementia, you have to pick up an instrument or play these games online.
Do Sudoku. Yeah.
No, no, no. It has to do with what's going on in the frontal lobe. And
So
that's
this one I do believe. I want to see if you believe it. I mentioned it. I mentioned pickleball. I've seen a lot of studies where racket sports, because of the coordination and brain power
100%.
it takes, is like legit for brain longevity.
Okay, absolutely yes. Racquetball has seemed to take a back end.
It's so
Nobody
much
does
cooler
it
than
anymore.
pickleball. It's so much cooler than pickleball.
I'm just like, wait a minute, what happens to the days I played racquetball?
Yeah.
But if you really want to know what to do, take your time, take a pen and paper, and write with your right hand and your left hand.
Oh,
right
shit.
hand, left hand. That's all you have to do. And when I say that, now you have to opposite. So our body goes on transient. Our planes of all of our, not just our cells, not only just our, when it comes to the viability of our blood flow, our veins, even when it comes to our heart, when it comes to atrophy or aortic tears, everything has planes. We have right, left equals left, right. So if you take the time to just learn to write with your opposite hands, you are stimulating every function of your brain from your dorsal to the front lobe, where this is where your memory and your cognition is, but your hypothalamus. And that is where your pituitary equals longevity. So take the time to write on both ends.
On both hands. And now I'm just trying to think through like the function of this is because your brain has to pay so much attention.
It has to
be able to do something.
It has to cross nation.
And you know what's weird about this is that I can think back to when I was younger, I was a basketball player. And I realized that if you can only dribble with your right hand and go right, like everybody can stop you. So
I used to do that free shot, right?
Not only that, I spent years where I brushed my teeth with my left hand. I ate my cereal. Like I did everything with my left hand to try and get my left hand up to where, and I felt like I got smarter even in school. And now what you're saying is like, holy shit, is that the same thing? Like,
yes, it is. It is. It's the same thing. And you did get smarter and it did work.
It didn't help. I still got shitty grades, but I was smarter. I was better at cheating in school.
But probably maybe because you didn't keep going with it. But the issue is, it is true. It absolutely is true. Because you remember, we are only using 10% of our brain. Yeah. And when you want to talk about longevity, you need at least 33.79% for longevity.
That's specific.
It is specific.
Yeah. It's like a third is what you're saying, really. Like you got to be using more than a third.
It's actually not a third, because our brain has more than we can actually comprehend when it comes to the functionality of it. So when I say the amounts, that means I'm only using the front 39. We have so much more in the back. Now, if you
Okay.
want to get deeper in that, you're talking, a little bit more than science.
We'll do that on another podcast.
We
But I like your
will, because we can
love it.
waken up those cells by easy types of even meditation.
Hmm.
There are so ways to awaken that, and that will again accrue with longevity.
Okay, I love that. And I really am. I'm a weirdo who's like tries to be a student. I write in a journal every morning. I am going to write in the journal with my left hand, not caring how sloppy it is,
Beautiful. I
because
really think that's amazing, and I really recommend that. And I am so pro for that. And one of the things, Eric, that you're doing that is amazing, you're out there. You're trying to make this happen.
trying. Well,
But you're doing it.
I am. And my theory is like every time I hear something, I'm like, if I run it through my brain and it can't hurt, I'm doing it. So right when I thought it through and you explained that, and I thought about basketball as a kid, I'm like, could it hurt anything to try writing
No.
left-handed? No. So that
Well, what hurt? You got some
adding it in.
sloppy handwriting for a little bit. That's all
Well,
that hurts.
I'm gonna
Don't
have
write
to
the love
remember when I
letters to
look
your
back.
wife with it.
I'm gonna have to remember when I look back, like, oh no, I wasn't like losing my mind. That was when I started writing left-handed.
Exactly. And it really works. And I'm on the plane, I'm going with two hands. And I've had a few people saying, what is it you do for a living? I'm like, well, look me up. I own Resolistic Health. This is what we do.
I just help people live longer. Like, nothing much. That's great.
Eric, let me tell you something. It's been a privilege with you because I love what you're doing. I
Cool.
am in love with the journey. Okay.
Cool.
And information is key. And I really enjoy the fact that you want to hear all the information. And I
Yeah.
always say the smartest people are those who take it all in and decipher what works best for them. So
Well,
I am you're on this mission for a lifetime, and
I appreciate you because
privileged.
I hear what you're saying, and I take that as first of all appreciate it, and second of all, as this is true that I am out there trying to do it all, but I like someone like you on my side because I do kind of feel like I'm flying a plane with a blindfold on, and
Yeah,
I'd love to just have a co-pilot with me going, dude, you're not looking. So this is amazing.
I
And
will be your co-pilot, and I promise
you.
you, besides a co-pilot, I'll put that emergency vest on for you.
There you go.
So you're not going to jump out free fall.
Yeah. You're not, and you're not going to exit out. Like you're going to land the plane.
I'm
with
not.
me.
I'm going to be right by your side and make sure that you're okay.
Awesome. Well, this has been amazing. And I love that we talked about longevity and like we covered a lot of the main organs, your
Yes.
heart, your brain. Can we dig a little bit into like, so if you make it past, okay, I didn't die of a heart attack, I didn't die of dementia, what's likely to get you? It's a word that we all hate to hear and talk about, but it's cancer. And it's something that at some point in your life, it's going to affect you or a family member. Is there anything you can talk about to give us an idea of what you believe is at least a likely cause of the reason that most people who end up with cancer have it, or any protocols of giving yourself the best chance of not having the big C?
Okay. So we've all been told that we all have cancer inside of us. It's a cell that gets triggered and turned on.
Yep.
It's a little switch, which when it comes to cancer, I call that the mTOR switch.
Okay.
Which we can talk in depth.
I've heard of the mTOR. I've heard of mTOR.
So another time I will get into mTOR because I will give you this synapse. But mTOR is very big for us to really, truly discuss. When it comes to cancer, there are some people who are lucky that do not have that genetic switch. But 97.3% of us have it.
Okay.
But it's what turns it on. So I discuss cancer when I talk about the blue zones. Because everyone says, when I was asked to do Netflix for the blue zones, I said, I cannot, because that is actually false.
I watched it.
It's false.
I get it. You know what? It's funny you say that. I love to hear that. Because when I got done watching the documentary, the things that I took out of it were like, kind of like, this is bullshit. Okay, wait. Community is key. I do get that. And
Absolutely.
it seems like if you walk uphill in your older age,
Yeah.
you're likely to stay healthy longer. Like those,
I hope so. I hope so.
it's like those two things was all I got out of Blue Zones that seemed legit. So tell me about Blue Zones. Go ahead. Sorry.
The blue zones are not accurate.
Okay.
We can live even in our country, our New Jersey, Florida, everywhere, with bad admissions in the air, but still be cancer free.
Okay.
And I want to say that yes, for us, I don't even want to talk about the percentage that don't have the switch. We all have the switch. Remember, we spoke about senescence, the zombie
Mhm.
cell switch?
Zombie cells. Yep.
Okay, so we all have a switch in our RNA that can turn on cancer.
Okay.
What can we do to make sure it does not get turned on for us? And if it does, what can we do to turn it off right away?
Yeah.
So that's when we speak about the autophagy.
Okay.
That's when we speak about the mTOR, and that's when we will speak about starving cancer cells. Cancer, ironically, and it stems back from the 1700s when sugar really got introduced to the world of
Okay.
the hierarchies of, the need more, the
When
want
it
more.
got put into everything.
Yes. But cancer, every cell that is a cell that has, it could be HER positive, HER negative, it could be RNC negative, RNC positive, NDA positive, negative. Every cancer cell has to feed.
It needs fuel.
It needs fuel, it needs to feed. And when it feeds, it spreads. So that's
Okay.
why oncologists have made it so you are type 0, 1, 2, 3, stage 4. All these stages are how much feeding, how much gluttony happened within those cells.
Okay.
And in my opinion, and in my research, and my research is very extensive. I
Well,
want to
listen,
give you,
I want to tell everybody, like, because we didn't talk about this. I saw you have been a lead scientist at Corelli University since 2011, and then also your Ayurvedic holistic health PhD in DO since 2016. So combination of scientist for a long time
yeah,
and doctor for a long time.
yeah.
Okay, I just wanted to remind everybody who they're listening to. Go ahead.
Yes, because what I have found is that when you starve cells, they die. They
Okay.
actually die. And the worst part about cancer is that big pharma and your insurance company are in bed together. So they want to do what they can do just to eradicate what they can, but still get paid. That's radiation and chemotherapy.
Yeah.
But what are you doing to the good cells, the natural cells that are actually doing our job in our body to fight the cancer?
Okay.
So here's what you do. You take a cancer cell and all the cells around it, you put them in comatose, make them senescent, make them zombie type. They
Okay.
can't do anything. They're in their own free state. And then you take that cancer cell and you starve the hell out of it. You
Okay.
starve it. And you know what happens when you starve it? It dies.
Most
What do
things. Okay.
what do cancer cells feed off of? There's not one person, Eric, that you can ever talk to who's an oncologist, a professional, PhD, a doctor. There's not one person you could ever have on this podcast who can fight me on the fact that cancer lives off of glucose.
Okay.
So I tell
Sugar.
people,
Sugar. So
I
starve it. Take the sugar out of your diet.
carnivore. Okay, so I have two patients. I have two patients. Let's say I have patient
Okay.
A and patient B. Patient A has the same stage. So let's say we have stage 3 colon cancer.
Okay.
Stage 3 colon cancer. Okay, two
Yep.
patients.
Yep.
One wants to go through and say, I listened to my doctor. And I'm not saying people shouldn't listen to their doctor. I'm just saying
Understood.
that this
There
doctor
are other
says
options they should consider too.
you need radiation, you need chemotherapy, you're probably going to lose your health, your immune system, your gut's going to become, but you'll get through the cancer. And you have B, who says, here's your choice. This cancer is there. Turn it off. Go on a carnivore diet. Because if you don't give it the sugar to feed, it will die. It will kill itself because it has nothing to feed off of. It's like a goddamn zombie. It has nothing to feed off of. So let it die on its own. Then let's retest you. Now, I don't want you to go back and decide I want to have 17 pizzas with all the carbs.
Tested, I'm good.
No, but at the end of the day, unfortunately, if you are a cancer patient, I'm sorry, and I pray for you. And cancer sucks, okay? It sucks, and it hurts the family, the person. But if you have a choice, in my opinion, do you want to go through this route that you might not live?
Yeah.
And your quality of life is horrible for those and your loved ones. Or can you have it so cancer will be with you for the rest of your life, but you are fighting it off? And you don't have to worry about it overtaking your body because you can say, just fed you a huge steak and a huge amount of butter and a huge amount of cream. And you know what? You're starving yourself to death. What am I going to do? Myself? I'm going with this route.
Yeah. Yeah. At least before you go any other route. Like, is that when you think about that route, once you go down that route, is it too late, let's say, to ever go, okay, I did the carnivore diet for a month. I went from stage 2 to stage 3. Now do chemotherapy. Or is it you're kind of choosing a route and that's the route you have to take? There is no turning back.
Well, let me tell you this. If you were at stage 2 and you did carnivore and went to stage 3, there's an issue. Something completely went wrong because that doesn't happen.
It's that like definitive.
That is extremely
and it's
definitive.
all cancer. It's not lung cancer. It's not.
Oh no, it's all cancers. It's all cancers. I do more research in breast, but I do colon. I do gastric. I do all types of
pancreatic.
Absolutely. And when it comes to the pancreas, I will tell you there are so many enzymes that you could put in the body to actually help the prolonging of life and kill off. Because here's, Eric, if I may say, remember I spoke earlier about COVID and how when COVID happened, Big Pharma got into a scurry and they were like, oh my gosh, we have to have some type of financial Munchausen. We have to give somebody something because they don't believe in us anymore because of the COVID vaccinations.
And so we got all this extra money from selling people these COVID shots. So
absolutely. Absolutely. So you know what they did? They said, we're going to give you a little bone, a little carrot. We're going to dangle that. And you know what they dangled? They dangled the diabetic medication and said, wait, we could use it off label for weight loss. They've known this for 22 and a half years. But they decided that they could do it off label. And then they decided, now we're going to put it on label and make trillions of dollars. I mean, Eli Lilly stocks went from 125 to almost 9,000. I mean, let's get real. And now, I will say this to you and your viewers.
Okay.
I gave my predictions with the COVID vaccinations. And I said, what's going to happen in 5 years? Now my patients come back to me and say,
looks like you're right.
Shit, you're right. And I'm going to tell you this.
Okay.
What's going to happen now that GLP-3s are coming out, you are going to find that they're going to be used off market for cancer. But they are only going to allow it to be utilized off market for certain cancers. And
now I'm just kind of putting 2 and 2 together. So the GLP-3 will kind of starve your body of sugar. Is that
starve the cells?
Starve the cells of sugar.
starve the cells, the cancer cells of sugars.
Oh,
Because
shit.
you already had GLP-1s forever.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
semaglutide started it.
Okay.
Trizepatides changed the trajectory. You know, that became like the mighty python of what could happen. So what's going to be in the next few years, especially what's going on, you know, in the world of you know, our democracy, which we won't get into, but now companies need to bring back the average person to say, I believe in you. And now what are
Okay.
you going to do now? Because you already gave the diabetic medication away. No one's dying of diabetes anymore. No one's getting their feet chopped off from diabetes.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not happening. Juvenile diabetes is at 2% now. 2%.
When it was what?
In 2001, it was 33.9%. And in 2011, it was 43%. Why?
Sugar.
Juvenile diabetes.
Yeah.
It's all about what's going on with the pharmaceutical companies and what they want to give and allow. So someone like myself who is Ayurvedic, who I want to say our JAMA book is called the Vedics. And the Vedics have been doing medicine for 5,000 years. 5,000 years ago was the first eye transplant. We kind of already are on top. Yeah, are on top of what's really going on. So we can forecast and say, Lord, look what's happening. And
that, I think of everything you said. Don't get me wrong. I mean, we're talking about some amazing stuff like sugar, starving your body of sugar cures cancer. I think the most mind-blowing thing I've heard today, I thought like the first transplant could have only been done like 100 years
5,000
ago.
years ago. 5,000 years ago. It's called the Rig Veda. They did the first eye transplant.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, it's crazy. And it's crazy how they friggin' did it too. It's absolutely remarkable. But the thing about it is, Eric, I don't take everything for grain of salt from my Ayurvedic training. I then do my medical functioning nutrition. Then I take everything I've learned from oncology. I put it all into my own ball and then feed off and give off that information. Because I'll never say one's right, this is right, that's right. Just like you in your journey, you're taking all the information you can and figuring out what works best for you.
I got to remind myself. I got to remind myself that I got to keep an open mind. Like I can't think I learned something, and because I've learned things that then a year later I'm like, well, that was wrong. So
you do. You learn so much, but it does take, and that's why I love being what I do and I do it for free for so many people. They'll email me, Dr. Riggs, can you just tell me, am I doing this right? And I'm like, no, do this instead. You know, just like the red light therapy and the PMFs. It's like, please don't pay that money. Go outside. Go outside. Ground yourself. It's just being one with the earth and one with the first sun.
That's one thing I will say. We talked about Gary Bracken. I shit on him a little bit.
I shit on him a lot.
But you know what? I will say, like, he did tell everybody, you know, before you spend the money to get red light therapy, go out at 6 o'clock in the morning and just stand in the grass and just like get that first morning sun for 10 minutes. And then you don't need this.
I get
that. I was like, okay.
I believe that. But then again, Eric, it's like me saying to you, hey, you know, if you have high blood pressure, I really want you to have hibiscus tea every day. You don't need to be on lisinopril. But then I tell you, I've got a new, you know, enzyme I just made that cost $30,000. And this is how I really handle it. That's the thing about it that I just don't like, because you talk about it, but then you show I've got a red light wall that's 40 grand and it will work for you. You know,
he so does that. He so does that. So yeah,
I kind of feel that you're not giving us average everyday people, you know, us everyday people who really just want to live life to the fullest. You're speaking to people that are not the same.
You got people like me outside in the sun going, shit, I really wish I could afford that $10,000 red light bed.
Exactly. And I'm like, you know what? What can I
just
do
go
to
out in the
mimic
sun?
this?
You don't need the red light bed.
What can I
Thank
do to
you.
mimic this? And if it comes down to it, there's only one company that I will say 100% mimics to the fullest capacity of that 10x machine.
Okay.
One company, and that's Higher Dose.
Higher Dose, just like HIGHERDOSE.
Yes.
Okay.
They have what's called a red light blanket.
Mm-hmm.
Eric, I am going to tell you that their red light blanket literally can blanket you, or you could hang it on a wall. And it does. And I did the research. Oh, I'm a nerd. Eric, I'm a nerd.
Love that.
I'm a
Nerd
nerd.
out.
I
Because here's
will
what I
knock
want to
it
know.
down.
Here's what I want to know, because yeah, we're talking about red light therapy like for substitute of the sun, but then I see people using it for like specific injury of my arm, that it's, getting deeper into this. Is that all bullshit? Yeah. Got it.
So what again it does is just gives you the essence of what humanity was meant to do, and that is to be with the sun. That's all
Makes
it
sense.
does. It's a mimic. Everything is a mimic. Like I spoke about earlier, methylation. It's a mimic. Things mimic because most of the people that we deal with in these companies think that we are too busy that we don't have time
Go
for
out in
this.
the sun. You got to just get in the bed for,
Just
yeah.
get out there. Just get out there. And you know what? I don't care if you're in New Jersey and there's 4 inches of snow. Just get out there.
I
That
do it.
sun's just as good. It's just as good. It has to be, before the UV rays hit. So that's between 6 to 9 a.m. 10 minutes. 10 minutes, ground yourself.
Listen, you talked about your morning routine, Heather. That's part of my morning routine. Although I got to admit, and we'll talk about this for a couple of minutes before we end, because I told you a little bit about my morning routine,
And I love it.
It does involve standing out in the grass for 10 minutes in the first sun. But I also told you I go from sauna to cold plunge, and you're like, stop it, Eric. Stop doing that. And I love what you said. I'm thinking I'm making my heart stronger. Like I'm making it resilient. You're like, no, you're not. You're destroying your valves by putting it through. And I do feel like I'm going to die almost every time I do it. I do it anyway.
You are.
Thinking I'm doing something good. I haven't cold plunged since you told me. I was doing it 5 times a week for a year.
I know, and I feel bad. I don't want.
No.
I don't want to be, But what I want to say is,
I always want you to be.
Okay, so this is
true.
The truth is, we're not spring chickens anymore. Okay, we're not in our 20s anymore. We're not in our 30s anymore. Shit, we're not even in our 40s anymore.
No.
The thing about it is one or the other, Eric.
Okay.
One or the other.
Okay.
When you do a sauna, that is only used for detoxification. And when you get out from detoxification, you need to have lukewarm water. And you told me before you only drink room temperature water, which I'm so proud of.
Not from research, just because I had tooth pain.
Yeah, I won't forget that. I'm like, good, Eric, yes. Always room temperature water. However, I always say you can never go from extreme cold to extreme warmth, because here's the difference. Look at us on the screen. You're in New Jersey. I'm in Florida. My blood's thin. Your blood's thick.
Okay.
So if we jumped page to page, you know what's going to happen? My heart is going to have an arrhythmic valve issue. I am going to be out of sorts. I'm too old to have that. So if I keep doing that over and over again, one time's okay. But if I keep doing it over and over again, that equals the possibility of stroke.
Oh, shit.
So the thing about it is you cannot let your heart go from and then maybe I should call it the Jim Belushi of cold plunges.
Listen, I do feel, I do feel like when I do it, holy shit, it's a rush that nothing else kind of happened other than Jim Belushi. So I do get
Yes.
that what I'm doing to my heart as you explained it to me. I just
Yeah.
watched that. I've been following Wim Hof forever. And I'm like, I'm just doing Wim. But Wim Hof doesn't go from the sauna to the cold plunge. That's my dumb ass that's like following Joe Rogan, going like, all right, I can do
Listen,
this
Joe
too.
Rogan's already discussed the fact he has ADHD. He doesn't know exactly what's
Well,
going on with
he
him.
also doesn't do, even him, he does cold plunge now and then works out. Doesn't go to the sauna. He goes cold plunge, then works out. Then after he does a 2-hour workout, then he goes in the sauna. A little
I
bit
want
different than
you.
me
I want you to
jumping.
do sauna after. I want sauna for this. Only
Okay.
when you need to detox, meaning you had a night out with your wife and you guys were out and had some drinks.
Okay.
You ate too many carbs, too much, way too much sugars. Detoxify. That's it.
Okay. And
Cold
now, real
plunge.
quick, when I
Yeah.
do that right now, I'm using liposomal glutathione that I've read helps you to detox. Is that a good idea or a bad idea?
Are you taking it injection wise?
Orally, 2 pills before I get in the sauna. I'm just my
I'm sorry, honey. It's going right through your system.
okay.
So glutathione has to be done only by injection.
Ah,
Only through injection. That's it.
okay.
It does not work because that's like saying I'm taking NAC, NAD, and then glutathione. We just pee it out.
That's
And if
why
you
I asked you. I
if
knew
you
that. That's why I asked if you were taking it intravenously because I know if you take
I take
NID,
it, I take injections every day.
got it.
And then 3 times a week I do the NAD plus. And then every night I take growth hormone every night.
Okay.
And the reason I do that is because I am 50. I want to live long enough to see my grandchildren, which I hope to have someday, which you have.
Mine's already
Congratulations.
mine's in middle school, so
Oh,
good luck catching up.
congratulations with that. And the thing is that I don't want my grandkids to see their grandmother with like Flappy Bird,
Yeah.
So
You want to still be Grand MILF.
I would say so. I mean, I just want to be me, and and I just want to be the best version of me I can.
Makes
So
sense.
I do take every night before I go to sleep. I take an injection, and it is my peptides. I'm doing more research on peptides because I don't want to stack. I'm too old to stack.
Okay.
So I do the Ceramurlin every night. I do
Okay.
15
Cimarella, I did some
milligrams,
research.
12 and a half, 12 to 15, and it works. It
Now,
works.
Cimarella, not Tessamarella, the Cimarella.
Semmer, because
Semmer.
the testosterone is different. You have
Okay.
to be careful because you cannot stack that with the GLP, and you can't stack that with glutathione.
Okay.
Glutathione,
whatever. Yeah.
excuse me. You cannot stack it. You have to be careful with your stacking, especially with NAD plus. And I take rapamycin, and I take rapamycin on the skin. So you have to be very careful. Stacking is important. You have to
One
be
day,
very,
by the
very
way, we got a ton of podcasts. I'm already writing down. One of them is rapamycin and you being friends with Peter Attia, who always talks about like I want to get into rapamycin on a.
Oh my Lord. When I get into that with you, I will
Can't
blow
wait.
it out because I want to say not only do you see a difference, but when we speak about getting those testing done that we do,
Yeah,
you see the difference.
because rapamycin increases the length of your telomere. Is that what you're really looking at?
No. The telomere can be extended with just taking a certain creatine and taking a telomere inducing supplement like Amaret. So we're dealing with a lot more than just telomeres. We're not just stretching out the cells and the mitochondria. And glutathione,
I got you.
they always have a match when it comes to the structure, when it comes to really doing an epigenetic bonding. So when it comes to rapamycin, I am very, very, very strongly for science behind it. And I wasn't on board with it for a long time. I did a lot of research with the methylene blue and the
Okay.
rapamycin, and I figured out what works best. And when I tell you that rapamycin not only reversed my age way back, and I'm like, yay, but I take it topically for my skin. I'll never get Botox or any of that. I just
Wait,
put
you
it on my
take
skin.
rapamycin
On the skin.
topically? I
Eric,
didn't even
I
know that
put
was a
it
thing.
topically on my skin every night with DHA and NAD plus in a serum every night. I don't put all that. Women put out tons of hundreds of dollars for La
Hyaluronic
Mer, La
acid.
Premiere, yeah, all of it. Oh, for what? It didn't do shit. You know, we women get the neck issues at our age. No,
You don't have
no.
them.
Well, it's because I put my health first and
Yeah.
I did the research. I didn't just say, give it to me. I did the
Yeah.
research. And there's a lot of things that him and I don't agree on when it comes to a lot of issues. But again, that's what's part of being a scientist. You take the
Yeah.
research in and you take what you want out of it. But I
If
have
you
to tell
don't
you,
steel man, straw man, everything, then you're just, that's not you. You're,
I have to say I've noticed such a difference. And if I could give, I don't really speak too personally about my life.
yeah.
Um, I'm very, very private about my life. But I will give your viewers and you this about rapamycin. And then we can talk about this in another podcast.
Yes.
So when I was 7 years old, I had shingles. How?
Not chicken pox.
No, I had chicken pox at 1 and again at 3.
Oh,
So
shit.
how did I get shingles? So what happened was I had dopamine levels that were too low. Didn't make any sense. So as I grew older, Eric, I would get, when I got extremely stressed, college, med school, everything, I'd get
Yeah.
these outbreaks right here on my chin. Ugly. I'd call it a rot. I don't want to, I would call it something else, but I won't say that on
Okay.
the podcast.
It's all
But I'd be
right.
like, what the hell's this? What is this? And I'd feel the nerve endings start to hit me. So I went to a doctor and they said, you had herpes. I said, no, I don't.
Same thing as fever blisters, right? I get fever blisters when
I
I
don't
get
get fever.
stressed.
So then this is good for you to listen, but I don't
Okay.
get fever blisters, but it's the herpes complex simplex 2B. We
Okay.
don't have the other type.
Yep.
We have this. And I said, how did this happen to me? Well, so happens that when I was a year and a half old, an aunt of mine had herpes of the mouth and kissed me, and I got it right here, and I had it for life. Do you know how embarrassing it would be to go to a Walgreens or CVS and say, I need a cyclovir? They're
Yeah.
like, oh, you got genital herpes. No, I don't.
I don't know how I
No,
did
I
it,
don't.
but it happens to me through stress. I would try to
It's
not
always
find out.
stress.
I would try not to find out when we had school pictures, because if I knew school pictures were coming, I'm getting a fever blister every time. If I could get surprised that school picture day was today, I didn't care what I wore, what I looked like. Whoo, I didn't know it was coming. I don't have a fever blister.
And you know what? They say the older we get, we won't get it as much.
I don't.
But then I realized I had some events in my life that I'm like,
I feel it.
I'm feeling it, right? I'm feeling it. And I'm like, okay, I'll take my cyclovir, fine. And then when I spoke to the doctors, Dr. Anderson from HealthSpan, and I said, listen, I really want to try this with the rapamycin because of what it really truly does and where rapamycin came from. Because I was part of the research team of Easter Island where rapamycin came from. So I said, I really want to do this, except I'm scared of the fact I can never take a cyclovir. So what will happen if I have a nerve breakout? And do you want to know something, Eric? The craziest thing, my body has become so much stronger and more adept and attuned to myself
Okay.
that
Okay.
even when I get so stressed out, I don't get this anymore. Wait,
Hmm.
I should knock on some wood behind
I
me.
know. I know. I'm
Wait,
thinking the same thing.
knock the
I'm
wood.
like, shit. I mentioned fever blister. Damn it. I'm going to get a fever
Don't
blister.
start itching. Don't. But I'm telling you, I've never had one since I've been on it. And I would get these outbreaks, maybe every 6 months. But
Yeah.
after rapamycin, I have not. And it truly changed the trajectory of not internally my organs, my
Yeah.
cholesterol, which nobody, I would never be on a statin. It changed that.
You
I
gotta get
went
off
my
of it.
heart, my brain, my
So
body.
wait, I need to get off statin because I've been on statin since I was like 27 years old. I've weaned myself from 40 milligrams to 20 milligrams. I want to get off of it. Are you saying rapamycin might actually help me get off of my cholesterol?
You'll never need to be on it.
Oh,
You'll never need to be on it. I mean, if you, gosh, when we have this conversation about it, I can't, and I'm not, listen, I have no investment into rapamycin. So
no,
I'm giving it to you from a true
your
person who's
heart.
been on it for so long, where, Eric, I've even noticed my skin, my complexion, and not just that, I lost a ton of weight. And I was like, oh, I've got the, creepy type of, you lose weight and
Yeah,
nope, going
sagging.
rapamycin, I became more strong, more
Mm.
in depth, more in tuned, more. I was like, whoa,
And it wasn't
wow,
that you were like working out twice as hard. You could tell it was the rapamycin.
absolutely. And I noticed it in my blood work, but that's the thing. So when you go and when you're on rapamycin, you go and test like this, do the rapamycin test. So if you go
Okay.
on to the company, like I said, HealthSpan,
Health
they will
span.
test you to see where your ceramolin levels are, which is rapamycin in your body. And
Okay.
they will say, you're doing amazing. Look at this. Or no, you're not doing good.
Yeah.
So I noticed they came back to me with my recent levels, and I'd be more than willing to share if you would like to
Share.
see.
If you're cool, Sharon, share.
Oh, I'm a sharer, especially because I am truly 100% healthy. And like I said, I don't believe into putting, injections. I don't believe in the whole plastic shit. Just do it all real.
Serum.
So,
Serum sounds
you
so much
know,
better.
I'm telling you, be natural and live life the longest and strongest you can be.
That's the goal.
So my dashboard shows that I'm optimal in all my markers, my biomarkers. It tells me that I'm 31 years old. And it shows me what needs help. So when it talks about, and I'll just give you, I'll show for the screen, my biomarkers. So it goes into depth with your ApoB. They're not worried about it being a little high because your calcium score came back 0. So did mine. But
Awesome.
that's great. Yet we still have to watch because things can change at any time.
So my
But
thought is I'm getting my calcium score done once a year for the rest of my life.
you have to. You have
Okay.
to.
Good.
Absolutely. And if your insurance doesn't pay for it, I
They
will
don't.
tell you the labs that do it for $85.
Awesome, because I pay $250, so good stuff.
I'll tell you where to go. So
All right.
it goes down to your history, and I'll show you this. It will show you where you have to worry about a few things. It's like,
Okay.
we kind of have to
It'll
worry.
tell you like it's in the red.
The red. We know the red. So my red was telling me that, for some reason, I'm not getting enough oxygen. And that's a big deal to not get the right amount of oxygen to your blood.
Right?
But guess what? I hold my breath a lot.
Hmm.
I speak so much at events, I hold my breath.
Well, I just find myself holding my breath like, wait, I'm stressing about work. I haven't breathed deep in like an hour. So I feel that. I feel
Do
your pain.
your box it out. You have to box
I do it. My box breathing, my 4 in, hold it for 4.
Yes, you have to do it. You have to do it. But I want to tell you how on point they are with this. They not only show you your range, but let me, if I can just, I don't know if the screen can show this. When it talks about your age, it shows you how good you are, where most people are, and
Yeah.
how not to be in the red.
Oh shit.
So then they go back and they don't try to sell you vitamins or supplements. They don't have to sell it to me because I could tell people what to do.
Yeah.
But they tell me, you know, Heather, you got a little issue here. We got to work on, you know, some of your oxygen levels. We have to work on a little bit of your kidney issues. Yeah, I'm not worried about that because I do clean my kidney out with hibiscus and my
Okay.
liver with hibiscus, but I do
Okay.
take a lot of supplements. And I really mean it. HealthSpan is a company that is no frills. They're on point. There are many companies that will help people, but when it comes to taking that extreme measure of financial testing, I think HealthSpan is the way to go because they are not only very, very affordable, but they are in it for the long run.
Yeah.
And they won't give you rapamycin if you're not a candidate for it.
You have to have your Cimarellin tested to see that that's
Everything,
low
yes,
before they would give
yes,
you.
and you
Okay.
know, they give me my NAD. They give me every day. I'm taking, you know, a ton of shots, but it works. It
Yeah.
really truly works.
I mean, you're definitely proof that it works. So that's friggin' amazing.
I don't know if I could do you, Eric. I don't know if I could do 114.5, but I'll be happy if I could do 100. And if
If
I
you
could
can
do
do,
it with this all together.
like we said, if we just can not slowly decline and watch ourselves die over a 10 or 15-year period, let's just live good
Exactly.
and then just die fast whenever it happens. So,
That's it. Die in or sleep, you know, just
whatever.
go to bed and wake up in another beautiful world. But I
I
will
just,
tell you, rapamycin is the key.
hmm,
And you and I are both on the right path for this. And there's so much more we can get into. And I'd be honored just to help you all through it.
well, you have spent an hour and 45 minutes with me tonight, Heather. So I great. And it flew by. Like it felt like we had a half an hour conversation. No, we're going. So, man, I want to thank you for this. And we are going to do, like, if you're down for this, we are going to do this again because, you know, there's nothing better than having an expert that I can ask maybe they're good questions or maybe they're not good questions. And you can actually break it down to what matters and doesn't matter. I feel like I learned more tonight than I've learned in all of the stupid Instagram, YouTube videos. Like,
That means
I,
a lot, Eric.
well,
That means a lot, and I appreciate it, especially because I've had a 16-hour day and my glutathione conversation. I will sometimes, you know, stutter on myself,
well,
and I apologize
you're
because
also
I'm
getting ready
doing.
to, are you flying to Boston so you can have a
I've
lecture?
got a lot of medical conferences to do, and
Oh,
I am really sharing information with the top head people who want to do it. But I'm coming in through I call it the back hole, where I am doing it for people to get the information for free, you know,
okay.
because I take it all and I use my knowledge, I use my backing, I use my certificates, you know, and my
Yeah, to get
company.
you in the door.
I own a company called Riggs Holistic Health. So
Okay.
I take that and I make it so everyone gets the information. But we all work together and we write together. And we write, you know, we update JAMA when it needs to be done, NIH when it needs to be done. And they are a beautiful group of people who all want the same thing.
Nice.
Yet you have to be careful because when it comes to longevity, sometimes people want to keep the close knit of people who, if you are going to live that long, you better
Yeah.
have something to offer.
Yeah. Like, wait, let's make sure we want you around in 50, 60 years. I love that.
My financial advisor was like, you can't live to 114. I'm sorry.
You're like,
We
watch
got
me.
you at 90. That's it. I'm like, oh, shoot. I'm sure I better do something different. So,
Yeah.
but we're on the same path, and I would love to come back and talk more about everything. And it was a pleasure tonight.
Thank you. Safe travels to Boston, and then maybe you come back and tell us what you learned in this other meeting of the minds while
You
we're going
got
over
it.
my blood work. That hopefully you're like, okay, you just got to tweak a couple of things. It's not as bad as it could be. So.
Send it to me. We'll go over it privately, and then you let me know what you want to share, and we will definitely go over everything. Because remember, I told you, when it comes to your blood work, it's not being in range. I don't want to
Being
say that you're
optimal.
in range. I
It's
want
being
to
optimal.
see. I want to see you on the far side, so where
Me
you're
too.
not even close to in range. I want you so optimal. It's ridiculous.
Enraged people live to 80.
Absolutely. And when you were far off the spectrum, you lived to 99.
That's the plan.
And when you're
All right.
Eric Butt, you live to 114.
That's the goal. Hopefully you make it with. I hope to have this conversation at 100. Hey, welcome to my million-hour party. Thank you, Heather, for being such a big part of my journey.
I would love it. I would love it. I have little space things running around our heads. I get
There
it.
you go.
Eric,
All
it was
right.
such a pleasure.
This has been awesome. We're going to do it again. Million Hour Life. Thank you for being a part of it. Have a great night. Good luck. Safe travels.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Talk to you soon.